So a lot of people are talking about the union of the divine masculine and feminine. What exactly is the divine masculine and feminine? What is divine union? And what does it mean for us to come into that state of consciousness within ourselves and also to experience the manifestation of that within our reality? So welcome back to the channel, and if this is your first time, I'm Asha's son. I am a metaphysical teacher, awakening guide. Through sharing my own experiences, what I've learned along my journey, and as well as what I've studied, I've been on this journey of awakening over the past decade. Towards the end of 2012, I started to have a profound shift in my state of consciousness. And I started to realize that I was living in a waking dream. I started to be initiated into what my guides called the mystery school of life, and to realize that I had come to this planet at this time as a part of a wave of other souls for an ascension process to occur to help awaken the spirit of Gaia Sophia, or the 5D New Earth, and that there are ancient codes encoded within us, within this body temple, and within the clearing of the ancestry that have helped to unlock certain alchemical codes and understandings that we all intrinsically hold. And these are the sharings of the ones that came through for me through this vessel. And one of those key codes was about the union of the divine masculine and feminine, the holy union within and without. The masculine and the feminine. The masculine and the feminine, while they can be expressed most obviously in their gender manifestations, their counterparts throughout the reproduction of natural living systems in nature, right, as well as our bodies, the masculine principle is not, when brought away from just its gender, or the same for the feminine, we can look at these as energetic forces of creation. The masculine principle of consciousness is the light principle of thought, or how thought is actually vibration. And this was known to the Gnostics as the Logos. This is the Father God principle. The feminine aspect of our being is the Sophia, the womb of creation, that is the quantum field of potential energy, as all is held within the ethers of the Akasha, of the element of space, which is actually a vacuum containing a vector equilibrium that contains all potential energy in the universe to actually birth realities, to actually birth planets and stars and universes. This is the energy of the unmanifest. This is the energy of the formless. And as the formless comes into union with the thought, the light principle of imagination, now we start to understand how these creation principles play out within our lives on the microcosm. Because this macrocosmic principles of the original source point of God consciousness merging with the goddess, the infinite formlessness, forms and impregnated the universe with the Big Bang. And the way that that unfolded was through sacred geometry. In the infinite canvas, a single pointed unity consciousness of self-awareness emerged. This God consciousness merged with the goddess and created a second point. And this created a divine mirror of divine duality. Between these 2 points of consciousness, you have polarity, which then, when they come into divine union, creates a 3rd point, which in some mystical traditions is known as the Holy Trinity. And these 3 creative forces are called different things depending on the tradition. But when these 2 forces come into union, the masculine and the feminine, the formless and the form, it creates a 3rd point, which is the creation from their holy union. This is what births matter from a matterless state. And actually, the root of the word mother comes from mater, which means matter, or matrix, or womb. This is what births the divine matrix, the divine hologram. The word father, etymologically speaking, comes from the root of pater, which means pattern. This is the patterning consciousness. So when you see the symmetry of sacred geometry expressing itself from the highest levels and dimensions of creation down to the most minute manifestations of the material plane, you will see that from how a baby's cells divide in the womb to how the shape of a flower grows, that the flower of life is a common sacred geometry across all levels of creation, because this is the divine symmetry of how unity consciousness moves into divine duality and then moves into a trinity, which forms a triangle. And then out of the unfolding of that creates every other shape. And this is a basic pattern of how energy works in manifestation. This is how basic pattern of how energy works in creation. Now, bringing it to the individual, our masculine side is our projective side. Not a projection in the way of, oh, you're projecting, and that's a judgment, that meaning it's coming from the lower self or the ego, as people call it, or from a distortion, but as a projection, as in a projecting, like how a light projector projects light out into the screen of space. This is the light of consciousness projecting out into your reality. And so when you hold an intention and you release that intention, or when you send energy, right, when you take action, this all has this forward momentum. And when in balance is known as the divine masculine. This is the leader aspect of our being. This is the having clear thought and intention, which is necessary for the outcome of your imagination to come into reality, to be able to create. So you are a mini creator God, because the same universal principles apply to you on the microcosmic level as it does to the oneness and to the higher dimensions. And you are here at the leading edge of it all, here with the ability to create. So it's not an ego trip to say that you are a creator, as long as we are aware of a higher power, right? As long as we are able to open our hearts to the mystery of it all, which is balancing our feminine, right? And our feminine is about receptivity. It's all about receiving, right? It's all about nurturing. The masculine's about protecting, and the feminine's about nurturing. And when these are in balance with each other, you have a healthy state within your nervous system. So this applies to your own internal masculine and feminine dynamics, right? When these are out of balance, say for example, too much nurturing becomes smothering. If you've ever felt smothered by your mother, right? That's that. If too much protecting becomes controlling. If you ever felt dominated, like your father was too strict, that's out of balance masculine. Now, we're coming out of a time of a general period in humanity where the masculine and feminine have been out of balance. And this is what people are speaking to as they're doing shamanic work, as they're doing spiritual work or healing work, right, on the subconscious or on other dimensions, or even on higher dimensions, depending on how you're looking at it, that they're speaking of liberating themselves from the patriarchy, right? And the patriarchy is speaking to the out of balance masculine within the collective consciousness. That is that overly protective, this is mine, this is yours, that conquering energy, that it's domineering, it's the war, it's that separation consciousness that is overly controlling. And we've seen the reflection of that on our world systems. And now there's a shift that's happening when people are speaking to the rise of the divine feminine on the planet. Now, this can be misunderstood because this is not just about feminism, right? Which can be very much so a necessary part of one's truth. This is about the rise of the feminine energy on the planet. And Gaia is naturally has a feminine energy. So as we come into alignment with the feminine energy of Gaia, we are tapping into that energy, whether or not we are a man or a woman or a different identity. Because this is something that is a energy on the planet. And as this energy is raising, it's coming to balance with the masculine. Now, in ancient times, see pre-fall or around even just before the patriarchy, there was also a time of the matriarchy. And there was also a shadow to the matriarchy. So now we're moving towards the union of the masculine and feminine, where it's not one or the other, right? It's both. The feminine is rising, but also the masculine is rising into balance. So they're actually rising together. And the real role of divine masculines at this time is actually to support the feminine rising, to support the women, to protect their awakening process and their ascension, to help in that healing process by embodying that that is the answer and the solution and the antidote to the distortions that they have experienced in the past with masculines and with men. And as you're able to anchor in, and because men doing the clearing work and the healing work on themselves allows that balancing and that clearing of the masculine energy to occur. And this is also clearing the masculine line in our ancestry, that then we're able to change familial patterns that we had. And this allows us to have healthy relationship dynamics, and even magical ones, tantric ones, alchemical ones, transformational ones of great expansion like nothing we've ever experienced before. And this is the divine union of the masculine and the feminine. This is the force that will heal this world, and it already is. Because as we heal ourselves, we heal the world. There is no separation. We are all one. And just no matter our differences, no matter where we come from, we've got to come together and create a better world. And so this is the work that many of us have been called to do as starseeds, as light workers, as empaths, as indigos, as second wavers of ascension, is that we've been called to do this masculine feminine work internally, to prepare our body temples to be ready for this embodied awakening, embodied ascension, and the clearing work that we've been doing on patterns that we've inherited from our ancestry and from our parents, of any place where they were arguing, where they were not in alignment, not able to be seen or fully loved, right? And places where they may have projected onto each other, themselves, or onto us as children, were part of the things that we took on as soul lessons to clear. And that as we clear that, and as we have cleared that, we allow these shifts to occur in our internal dynamics of our inner constellation, because we are all connected. So this is why so many of us in this ascension path is going through being called to constellation work, because we're recognizing that our outer relationships are a reflection of our inner relationships. And so that as we do this inner work, we're able to show up as the best version of ourselves. We're able to show up with compassion. We're able to show up as a healing force. We're able to show up as a self-sourced force of creation, as an empowered, sovereign being connected to the divinity of creation, with a direct connection to that, to a clear and open channel to that, to be able to be here as a change agent of that state of consciousness, not forcing, not resisting, not complying, not ignoring, but embodying the state of consciousness of which we wish to see in the world, of seeding that into realities, of mastering metaphysical principles, and of realizing and reawakening the codes of ancient knowledge within our DNA, contained within the long-forgotten emerald tablets that were a reflection of the Akashic records that we already all have access to and had access to, only now remembering. It is not about what's just been encoded in texts written long ago. It is written in the texts and scrolls of your DNA. So you could stretch your telomeres of DNA across the planet. There is an entire genetic library at access within you. We can tap into and awaken our psychic abilities. We can tap into our intuitive abilities, and we can hone ourselves to be instruments of consciousness and come to the sensitivity of the empathic mastery, where we are no longer taking on that which does not serve or belong, but we're instead able to be attuned and also still have boundary. We're able to protect and we're able to nurture. We're able to love from that pure place. And when our shadow arises, we're able to take responsibility. So we're no longer caught in this age-old dramas. We're no longer ruled by our emotional traumas. And we're able to heal them consciously and to consciously relate. Conscious relating then becomes the school for us to heal and to awaken and to transform. Through our authenticity, we are able to discover our true self. We're able to express who we truly are beyond conditions and beyond what the world tells us we're supposed to be. We're able to be unique expressions of divine consciousness expressed into form. And the more that you do this work of healing the lines of your ancestry, of balancing your ability to lead and your ability to receive, of going in and forgiving and clearing your past relationships, of clearing and releasing those energies and those karmic attachments and cords that no longer serve you. And you're able to reclaim your energy into wholeness and into sovereignty and oneness with your true self, and bring that energy into center, into heart. And through your heart, you alchemize. And as you alchemize, you liberate. And as you liberate, you expand. And as you expand, you grow. And as you grow, you're able to realize who you truly are. And when you're able to realize who you truly are, you're able to show up as your true self. And when you're able to show up as your true self, you naturally lead by the legacy of your inspiration. You no longer need to control anyone because you are in control of yourself. You can be an example of the world you want to see. You can help inspire others, and you do when you step into that state of consciousness. You can embody and be the version of yourself. Law of Assumption, Neville Goddard. You can change the reality as within, so without. Hermetic principles. Studying these metaphysical things has led me as well to that of the ancient Egyptian alchemists, the Cometians, and the understanding of raising the Jed, which is also called the kundalini. And the polarities in our energy system are the masculine and feminine, and as you awaken these forces within yourself and balance them, you can actually awaken this serpent energy within you, the golden dragon light body within you, the Christos Sophia. And when you actually activate and open your third eye through this process, there's an internal holy union which creates the holy nectars, creates the milk and honey, creates this state of bliss and satisfaction, and creates a alchemical nectar of the red and the white, this DMT and these secretions of hormones that actually restore your body to a vibrant state of life force and health. Beyond health, you become an alchemist of life force as you learn how to cultivate your creative energy. And as you clear these cords and attachments to things that are taking your energy, or that you're giving your energy away through, you're able to reclaim that energy, and you're able to build your life force. And then you're able to cultivate this inner fire and channel it into creation. Now, this work, which is also known as Tantra, can be done individually and doesn't even have to involve sexuality, though it can. And it can also be done with a couple. And then what I find in my own path to be the highest calling is that of Hieros Gamos. And hierogamy is a path of a divine union partnership of a man and a woman coming together to heal, unite, and awaken the highest expression of the masculine and feminine energies, and to embody divine polarity in that relationship dynamic. And through their trust and devotion, they actually awaken the Christos and the Sophia, the god and the goddess, and they incarnate those archetypes in a divine dance between each other that actually has the ability to birth magic and to birth new realities. And part of the journey of this, if this is the journey you've been called to, is that of awakening the Ka body or the light body. And this is mastering your power of your wand, your inner fire, and also that of the cup or the chalice of the Holy Grail. And honing your sword of discernment, as well as learning to master that of the pentacle, of the coin, of the earth element, of the balance, of how they all come together in space, and how to recognize that the masculine and feminine principles also play out within the conscious and the subconscious aspects of our being. The subconscious being the fertile soil. Soil does not judge the seed that's planted, but the planter has discernment over what gets planted. Right? So these dynamics go hand in hand. As you reap, so you sow. So to truly embody love, you would need to love yourself, to love your lover as the beloved, falling in love with yourself and your beloved as the universe, falling in love with yourself and the beloved of the universe, of creation, falling in love with creation itself. And then you attract your twin flame, your soulmate, however you call that, and not being too attached to those labels, because that can also be very tricky, right? But that divine mirror, that sacred mirror reflection of true embodied, deep, true love in your life, coming in through a divine partnership. And these are actually part of our soul groups that have come here that are aspects of the same soul expressions of source consciousness, from the Pleiades, Sirius, Arcturus, and Andromeda, and other star way stations of consciousness and star languages and codes that are activated. And as we're able to remember our times before the fall, as well as in ancient Atlantis and Lemuria, where this magic was encoded into the temple structures that are all over the planet at this time, recognizing that the beloveds are being brought together to activate the ley lines, to heal the masculine and feminine, and to actually change the story for humanity, because love is what heals this world. Love is the most powerful force of creation. When you marry love with purpose, you can create anything. That is the magic that you hold. And the love of this feminine aspect of our being, of the Sophia, with the light of pure consciousness of the Christos, of the divine masculine, merging together, has the ability to literally create new realities, on this physical planet, and to create legacies of light, healing, love, peace, consciousness, and awakening that is passed down, clearing multi-generational karma and trauma and drama, to send waves of ascension forward and backwards through time, rippling out because everything is quantumly connected, to actually create the blueprint for the new earth family, to create the blueprint for the star family, to create the blueprint for the echo villages and the new earth consciousness that are happening in an organic wave of awakening and ascension on this planet, as we are being downloaded with the right things at the right times. So if this video came to you, you attracted it / it's a reflection, because it's all one mirroring conscious dance of co-creation. And if indeed this all resonates so deeply, then this could very well be your path. Because when we are able to bring together this divine love and magic, right, the beloved consciousness, in whichever way that it manifests, whether individually or in pairs or in other versions of itself, is able to create a holy union that is also manifested without. And as this is so, we are able to magnetically create such transformation and healing through these relationships and through the alchemical magic that is birthed through this. Another great book, The Magdalene Manuscript by Tom Kenyon and his wife. So thank you guys for tuning in. Much love to you. Peace, many blessings, and namaste. Now I must go.